Hello viewers, it's another moment with David. My name is Fuwadebayo David. Today I want to talk about, I will not call it a continuation of my program in talking about um, ways to take Nigeria out of this economic mess, because those ones are responsibilities of the government. But this that I want to talk about is about the Nigerian Labour Congress, and I see an opportunity that if it is well utilized by the Nigerian Labour Congress, they can help also reduce the pain and hardship that is going on in the country, rather than running after the federal government and turning themselves to a political party unconsciously. They are Nigerian Labour Congress, not Nigerian Labour Party. So, but it looks as if they want to be playing a role of a party attacking the government. I am not saying that the government is right, but there's an adage that says that two wrongs don't make it right. So they need to, what I feel, or what I suggest for the NLC right now, because when you look at it, you're fighting for increment of wages, but you have not considered that what about the purchasing power? That if you do this, there's going to be serious inflation in the country. Serious inflation. But what Nigeria need jobs. Yeah, Nigeria need increment, but I don't think Nigeria really need increment on wages. They just need cost reduction in product and services. And I think the, the Nigerian Labour Congress is concentrating on the government alone. And like I said, looking at, they are acting as a political party, opposition party. No, they are not an opposition party. You are for the interest of the whole Nigerian, irrespective of their party, their business, their culture, anything. And if you have to achieve that, you need to now understand that you need to go and restructure yourself. I have not said that the Nigerian Labour Congress cannot challenge the government. Yes, but you need to put your house in order. You need to have a clear objective. You need to have a clear goal. You must, and not just having them, you must make people understand. There must be enough sensitization to carry people along. I mean, what the vision, I think, or the position, let me first of all talk about this. Say this about it. The position Nigeria Labour Congress should position herself should be a position whereby, a position of power, a position whereby you have the people at hand. And in every state, whenever any governor wants to become governor, he will need to want to convince you or sell his ideas to you that this is what I will do. The same thing as federal government. You need senators to be afraid of you, like, kind of, not that maybe they are afraid that but look, there's a force that can challenge our activity and our authority and our misconduct. The same thing as federal government. You must have a situation, you must have a power to influence the federal government. But you cannot be defending or fighting alone for government workers and have such enormous power. You must even, the government, you are not even supposed to be, in fact, if I were advised in Nigeria Labour Congress, in the next 5, 6 years to 8 years, you don't even need to have problem with government. All you need to do, go down and begin to restructure your house from local government. If you can mobilize 100,000 workers in every local government, do you know how much that translates into? You probably might be having about, 3 point something or more than. So in places like Lagos, just imagine you can mobilize 2 million. In Lagos, you can mobilize 5 million workers, and and you can mobilize in Abuja 4 million, or thereabout, Kano 3 million, others 2 million, averagely 50 to 60 million. Then you can shake the polity, you can shake. Nigerian Labour Congress don't seem to even know the weapon that they have. I don't know. I would say that maybe you are corrupt. No. But what I see is that you have a misplacement of priority. And unfortunately, you see, this is when you have bitterness and hatred towards the person that is in president. Your expectation was that Peter Obi will become president, and now that he's not the president, any president that now become president, like Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that has a lot of controversial background and all that, you just want to tag him bad. You see, unconsciously you'll be conferring favor on that man, and he's a tactician and a politician. You have to be careful how you deal with people like that, including all those state governors. Most of them, Although, so I mean, you need to strategically look at it. Okay, what about all those factory workers? How well have you fought for their rights? Many factories in this country, they are misusing Nigerians. Nigerians are working 10, 12 hours. They are working 6, 7 days a week with very low wages, 50,000, 60,000, 100,000. Those are people you should go and start fighting for. Whereby people just, some, all these Asian companies, all these Indian, Chinese companies, what you should be fighting for is you should begin to fight for the Nigerian right that foreigners cannot be exploiting our raw materials. Those are things I will now begin to explain one by one. Now, when you talk about labor rights, you must design a labor right that covers for the minimum, for the private sector, the factory workers, those that are working in bank, contract workers, that corporate organization have denied them some of their entitlements through contract signage, through working hours. What you should do now, design a policy, go and lobby in the federal and the state house that workers should not work more than 40 hours a week. That is translating to 8 hours per day, meaning that 5 days a week. So then there will be a clause that if you are going to work 10 hours a day, then you can only work for 4 days a week with benefits. Or in a situation whereby, okay, you have to now work 40, then, or more than 40, that means it will not extend more than maybe 48 hours a week. Then that 48 hours, that 8 hours, how much will be the minimum wage per hour for each? Those are things you should sit down and be looking at. And I believe that if you put your house in order, the structure in order, then I can tell you that the government might even support you, because the government don't have workers that are working 12 hours a day. The federal government or the state government does not put their workers on such pressure. So they will align with your ideology in this perspective, and they will give you every support. You lobby. That's what the purpose of lobby is. Lobby does not mean that you want to embezzle money or you want to be corrupt. Again, you begin to lobby with senators. Help us do this, and you lobby with state government, you lobby with and they sign it into law. Then you can now start going to those factories and begin to ask, what are your entitlements? What should be the minimum wage in those private working? If you are working, why will one singular person be operating 2, 3 machines? So you have to stop that. When you do that, then you are reducing unemployment, because those companies will now be compelled. When you put it in that your policy that you are presenting to the federal government, that this is the fine that the government can fine you. That is, if I am working with a factory and they are paying me 50,000 naira and they are making me to work 6 days a week and I'm working 12 hours, that by the time they go to court, they will give me 20 million naira and pay government 5 million naira. Government will sign that policy, or maybe even 10 million, and a lot of companies will sit right. And you will get the favor of the people. You will get the favor of the people, and you can even compel Nigerians indirectly in a way that they understand that you are out for their interest. That okay, we are going to have an office in every local government, and in each of these local government we have at least 100 workers. Nigeria has 774 774 local governments. Now, by the time you have them, although there are some local government or there are some states that you might not need to have so much workers, because they don't have labor, because maybe they are not very productive, I would say. They don't have industries and all that. They are just civil servant community or civil servant state. But that does not totally mean that they will not carry them around. So imagine that you can mobilize this thing and each Nigerian pay you 50 now that are working, because they will be glad to pay that 50 now, because they know that at the end of by the time you look at 50 now times 50 million, that's about that's 2.5 billion every month. You can use that to move. Then you groom lawyers in each of these places. You can have 20 lawyers in each local government that will manage, and there will first of all be a process of arbitration, meaning that before you start going to court, and you just need to be so the right of the common Nigerians. One of the strengths of UK economy is because the labor right, the labor union are very powerful and effective, and anybody who wants to come to power are always very conscious. So you can't just jump up and start fighting government. You need to start from local government, those manufacturing companies, those production companies, those servicing companies, those mining companies. How are they treating Nigerians? Do Nigerians perceive you as somebody who is fighting for their rights? So I mean, you can imagine the embarrassment that the Labour chairman was experiencing in Imo State. I hope you will look into all these advices that I've given you, and you'll be able to do something about it. Thank you very much, and God bless Nigeria.